Have you ever heard this saying, take care of the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves? Since I left corporate, I've clearly been responsible for not only making my own money, but managing my own money, managing my lifestyle in a way where, okay, nothing's guaranteed, everything is up in the air until you lock in systems that allow you to track and predict. And something that I had to do for myself in order to gain some balance around my finances, because I swear I don't hear enough people talking about this. I just don't. Make money. And then what? And then what? How much money? How much is going out? We don't know. All these factors with being an entrepreneur, it can be really confusing. And in order for me to really lock in, and for me to see, like to take a step back and see and make more informed decisions and be able to predict, I had to train myself on how to take care of the pennies in order for the dollars to take care of themselves. And so I had a conversation with my accountant, best conversation ever. He was like, listen, you're early in business. Here's what you can expect. The messiest first few years ever. And you're gonna know right away if you're gonna make it, not make it, whatever it is, because most businesses do fail in the first few years. And he was basically explaining to me that until I understand the way my own money moves based on my current financial habits and how I'm spending, not spending, making, whatever it is, until I really understand that, I'm not gonna be able to clearly identify where the financial leaks are in my business. Or even in my personal life. I'm not gonna be able to say, oh, okay, all those subscriptions that you've signed up for, get rid of that shit. You don't need it. All the other things you're spending money on, you don't need it. All these super expensive tools and platforms that you're spending money on, you don't need it. There's another way to do it, and there's a better way to do it that's more suitable for what you're making right now in your business. And so instead of letting me hire him, he wanted me to approach my finances from a very knowledgeable place. So that way when I'm reporting in, I'm actually reporting in how my performance went throughout the year, and then overall making a decision, what are we doing next year? Was this a profit year? Was this a loss year? Like, what could we have done better? Where did we spend money that we shouldn't be spending money? Where did we not make enough money? Like, what was happening in your life at that time? Because if you're a solopreneur or you have a small team, like myself, there's going to be times where you're either, you get sick, or you have to go take care of personal stuff, or maybe you happen to, meet somebody that you want to go hang out with for a little bit. Like, there's so many different personal things that come in that could disrupt your cash flow. And so the how of how I went about doing this is, instead of following these different budgeting, tracking structures that are offered by banks or by credit cards or by platforms like QuickBooks, I asked my tax accountant, what exactly do you need from me when it comes time to report? Because I'm not trying to categorize the wrong way. I want to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need, and then we can make informed decisions moving forward. And so he gave me the exact categories as to how he wants me to lay out my expenses and how he wants me to identify, obviously income as well. And then at the end, we have a P&L. So it's basically my own P&L. But based on what his requirements are to file taxes. Cool? I did that. I learned that I wasn't putting enough money in marketing, like enough expenditure into marketing and advertising. I was spending too much on, I guess, eating out, but I did a lot of travel, so it was really hard to get groceries consistently. Besides, when you're really busy in business, I can't always cook. I like to cook. So because I like to cook, I don't always want to eat other people's food, and I don't always want to eat out, especially like right now I'm in Miami, like where they have this extra tax that nobody likes. Like, why is that there? Oh, you've already been tipped. Can you tip us some more? Where does this money go? Oh, well, this money goes to the rest of our staff, but where does the other tip go? There's like this mandatory 18 to 20% tax on most restaurants here. And so it's just looking at all the places where you're being charged money that you could maybe not be charged money. right? I'm not trying to I don't want the money going out as fast as it's coming in. What I'm trying to do is get to a place where, the money's coming in, I'm catching it, I'm able to hold space for it and then expand that arena while it's only what's needed is going out. But I do think it takes 2 to 3 years in business to actually wrap your mind around what the hell you're spending money on and all that good stuff. And so what I've done is I've created this super simple spreadsheet for myself, and I've been running it every month. So I can then look at it quarterly and then annually for when tax time comes. I can just simply say, okay, this is what I did. This is where I came from. This is where I spent my money. This is where I improved. What is your advice, or how can I do better next year? I just think more business owners need that training. Unfortunately, I do. I don't think everything should be delegated, because then you're blind to your own financial decisions. You're blind to your own finances, and you're putting all of your trust into somebody else, so much to the point where they may or may not be able to truly help you. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm coming from with that. The quickest way to identify your financial leaks or anything that you might have going on that may seem outside of your control is to look at it in its exact form. I spent it here, I spent it there, and then feeling the pain of what that's like, to say, damn, I spent too much money this month on this, really need to pull back on that, put some more money over here. It's almost like financial surgery, because awareness is key. Once you become aware, now you can improve. Once you become aware of what the things are, what's causing you to spend emotionally, or what you think you need when you really don't, that all that kind of stuff, or whatever's causing you to just spend money without being able to take a step back and pause. Thank God for public speaking, right? The power of pause. Take a pause. Is this the right place to invest my money? Because you've got to look at it from an investor standpoint. When I put my money here, is this going to get me a return, or at least give me some kind of data that I need to continue to improve in this area? Yeah. Ask your tax accountant, what are the exact categories that we're going to be filing our taxes under? This is if you're still new to business and you're still trying to figure out how to set up a solid foundation for yourself, because as business owners we need to make more informed business decisions. It's not just, oh yeah, we need that, throw money, but then you sit back later and now you have the guilt and the shame, I don't have time for that. Do you know how much it takes to transmute guilt and shame? Nobody has time for that. If you can stop it early by just being aware of the decisions you're making, I think you'll be in much better shape. So ask your tax accountant, what are the exact categories that I need to be concerned with when it comes to filing taxes for my business? And in doing so, you then need to, you or somebody very close to you who can keep you in the loop at all times about your expenses, you need to have somebody either reporting it or making you feel the pain. You have to feel it in order to fix it. Feel it to fix it. Feel it to fix it. Oh, I didn't like how that felt. Now I can fix it. Once you do that for, I would say a few months, maybe a couple quarters, because you need that big picture perspective, right? If you're only zoomed in, day to month, that's not always enough. You want to do it for a little while, record your expenses, track your expenses, and just be honest with yourself. You need to, do that, and then zoom out Q3 and then zoom out for the year. And then I do think that's going to solve a lot of people's financial problems. But then you have to be able to keep up. If what's going out is more than what's coming in, you're clearly operating at a loss. If what's going out is less than what's coming in, that's the goal. But then what are you doing with the money as it's coming in? So I could take this conversation so many different directions. I'm just going to wrap it up there. Make sure you're asking your tax accountant, whatever, what those categories are. Start doing, be your own surgeon. Unless you like somebody else telling you, just be your own surgeon. Just really sit with your finances. I do think that's going to solidify a foundation within yourself where you can identify your own leaks, and then, take that zoomed out perspective, go big picture, so you can not only track your P&L, but you can also start predicting when you're going to make money and when you're going to be spending money more like an investor. Talk to you soon.